isn't just whom you're born to. Family is whom you choose. And I lucked out when I met Todd Palin. He has been a partner to me in every conceivable way, in life, in love, and in doing battle with the New York Times. He is a wonderful father, a wise advisor, and the love of my life. Yes, I was fortunate to have met Todd. If you want to get anything done in this life, it's helpful to have a first dude.
And as Governor Palin mentioned, many political leaders have come under fire from the left for turning to prayer during times of crisis. But in her brand new book, America by Heart, the governor describes just how important faith can be to our elected leader. And she continues now with us. You know, you went into this in great specificity and detail in the book, right, as a matter of fact, right from the start, pretty much, about prayer and faith and how important it is in your life. In the New York Times piece, what you say in the New York Times piece, there was actually a moment when you were prepping for your debate against Joe Biden where you and Joe Lieberman apparently had a prayerful moment.
Well, I was, yeah, and Joe Lieberman gave me great advice. You know, he said, hand this over to God and put your faith in him and, you know, go forth. And I've had a lot of prayerful moments along that campaign trail and certainly along my life. I became a Christian when I was about 11 years old, recognizing such inspiration in God's creation all around me in Alaska that I decided, you know, if he was this wise and this omniscient and omnipotent to be able to create such majesty around me, surely he would have a plan for all of us in his cosmic universe. And I put my life in his hands and have sought his guidance all along the way.
Let me ask you this. You open up in great detail in the book about your family life. You talk, for example, when my then 17-year-old daughter dropped the bomb on Todd and me with her announcement that her adolescence had been prematurely halted in the most unfortunate circumstances. She was going to have a baby. Our little world stopped spinning momentarily. You decided to really open up about these deep personal family issues. Why?
I did, Sean, because there have been such misreporting and misperception about our family that, you know, I wanted the opportunity to set the record straight on some things and to be brutally honest about how devastating it was to get the news that Bristol was pregnant at such a young age. And Bristol, though, being strong and independent, she has forged through the public humiliation and the very, very tough job it has been as a teen mom. And she wishes to send the message that no girl should try to emulate this and not glamorize it. It is not an ideal life at all. It's very, very difficult to be a teen mom. So I've talked about that very candidly, but I didn't have a problem in opening up about my personal life because I think a lot of people can get some inspiration out of what it is that we have been challenged by and what we've come through. Also, though, I think it can reflect a little bit on the hypocrisy of the mainstream media and the left. I was appalled to find out that there were so many reports about hypocrisy attached to our names when Bristol talked about the journey that she's been on and warning girls, you know, don't get pregnant when you're not married. It's not a good situation to be in. The hypocrisy, and I keep wanting to ask these reporters, you know, really? Your kid's never done anything that maybe your kid regrets? Your kid was a virgin when they got married. You were a virgin when you got married. You know, questions like that I'm like, you know, you lying reporters who want to make it sound like it's just been the greatest sin ever on earth, what Bristol went through. And I think, you know,
well, I want you to know I was a perfect angel when I was young, Governor. I know you don't believe that, but no, actually not quite. You said something.
Well,
that really
evidently, so were all those reporters, though, and their adult children too. Yeah.
You did say, I confess, you opened up very much in this book. You said, I confess I felt embarrassment. There were times when I wasn't sure. More than once I thought about, you know, how could this be worth it? Let's just go back to Wasilla and stop feeding the media beast. So there were times maybe you were thinking of just dropping out of public life?
Well, there have been times where I've had to really pick my battles. What is it that we should answer, and what should we just let roll off like water off a duck's back? I know that you can't win a ball game being on defense all the time. You have to be on offense. You have to get out there and you have to refute the lies that are said about you. Otherwise, your record, your family's reputation will forever be warped. So, you know, I'm on a path of being on the offense, and I don't have a problem doing that because I do want to set the record straight, even though it does involve having to answer a lot of questions, personal questions about my family. I think much more so than any other public figures' kids in the political arena. I don't know if Barack Obama's girls are ever going to be questioned the way that Piper even is, and Willow, and you know, I don't think Joe Biden's daughters.
Should they be out of bounds?
You can read some things about them too. They are out of bounds, so I don't know why the Palin kids haven't been out of bounds, but so be it. Here's what Todd and I have said about it too. Again, kind of reflecting on what Bristol has said recently about going to criticize anyway, might as well dance. Well, yeah, you know, if we go down, we're going to go down swinging. We're going to go down with that message that I believe a lot of Americans can be empowered to hear. When we talk about individual rights and states' rights and opportunities that God has created and provided the people, and then we have government policies trying to strip away those opportunities, so we're going to fight a government policy that would strip away opportunity and be in a position of eroding our freedom. Well, even if we go down, we're going to go down swinging, because we're going to go down fighting for what is right.
Coming up, she's made a splash in politics, but why is Governor Palin now throwing herself into the world of reality TV?
Pop culture is the influencer in this country, in our society. So we are to be salt and light. We're not to just be sitting there in our own little circle of influence. And though the Fox News viewership is huge, larger than any other news organization, of course, just preaching to the choir with Fox viewers. No, we need to get out there and reach people who are so independent that perhaps they would never think to tune into Fox News, and introduce some good ideas to these people.
That and much more straight ahead.
Can't ever just be satisfied with tranquility. Oh, that whole misperception about being a diva, it kind of cracks me up. As a gnat stuck to my lips.
I would describe myself, my family, as just normal, average, everyday Americans.
If you're planning on visiting her, she can visit you for like 20 minutes. Willow, come here. No, boys, go upstairs. Willow, Willow.
I think that my kids will always call Alaska home.
All right, that was a clip from Governor Palin's brand new reality TV series. It is called Sarah Palin's Alaska. It airs Sunday night at 9 Eastern on the Learning Channel on TLC, I believe. The debut, by the way, of the program, it was #1, the largest launch in TLC history, and it was seen by 5 million people. You ask me, it's just another example of, I guess, Sarah Palin's power. And the former Alaska governor, Fox News contributor, continues with me now. By the way, with all due respect, Governor, and I mean this really with a lot, for you to climb that mountain with a fear of heights, as I was watching the opening episode, I thought that was a lot of guts. I fell off a roof once 3 stories, and I'm like, I'm never doing something like that. Do you like that kind of adventure?
That adventure specifically, it was a tough one for me, to tell you the truth. There are so many cool adventures, though, in the next 7 episodes. It'll blow you away, some of the things that we do with our commercial fishing and with the hunting with my dad, and some really cool things we do. It's such a positive, family-oriented, uplifting documentary about Alaska and our resources, and there's some subtleties in there where I talk about what it is that Alaska, with our natural resources and some healthy, responsible development of them, how we can secure the Union. Alaska is America's Fort Knox. To be able to bring the family along on the ride in talking about these resources was a pretty cool experience.
What did you think? Karl Rove, he was on the program last Thursday night, and I asked him about this because he had made some comments. He said, I'm not certain how that fits into, meaning the reality show, the American calculus that helps me see you in the Oval Office. And I said, well, is there a feud going on? And he said, no, not at all. What was your reaction to that?
You know, I saw the show too, Sean, and no, there is no feud, at least not on my part. I don't have any desire to be threatening to anybody in that political machine. I don't desire to take anybody's title or position or their power base or anything else. You know, I just want to be part of the team if the team is out there fighting for the right things for this country. So in partnering with Karl Rove, you know, I'm all for that if he understands where it is I'm coming from. And where it is I'm coming from when I talk about some interjection of my life into pop culture, he needs to understand that pop culture is the influencer in this country, in our society. So we're to be salt and light. We're not to just be sitting there in our own little circle of influence. And though the Fox News viewership is huge, larger than any other news organization, of course, just preaching to the choir with Fox viewers, no, We need to get out there and reach people who are so independent that perhaps they would never think to tune into Fox News, and introduce some good ideas to these people. We can do that through a show like Sarah Palin's Alaska. Wait till they see a hunting episode where I'm talking about Second Amendment rights, and I'm talking about hunting wild game, and out there on the corner of Anwar, where I can show people how it is a flat, uninhabited plain that is warehousing hundreds of billions.
He did say that he hoped you weren't sensitive to criticism, and I, in your defense, said I think you've proven over the years that you can take a punch, because you've taken a number of them. All right, I've got to ask you, I got to go back to where we started the interview, and you did say you are contemplating a run for the presidency. My next question is, when will you decide?
You know, that's a good question. I still don't know on timing. What I will not do, though, is do the conventional bigwig politician way of doing it, with having teams of highly paid consultants who want to shape a campaign and a candidate into something that perhaps that person really isn't. I'm not going to go that route and have them tell me what to do. I'll know that I know that I know when it is time to make the decision. That's the way that I've rolled all my life, and it's the way over the last 20 years that I've run for office, not having these advanced teams tell me what it is that I should do, and not having polls conducted to tell me where I should go. I have jumped in there knowing that my voice needs to be heard because I can be effective, and if that is the case this go around in 2012, then certainly the decision will be made in, it needs to be made in short order. I understand that.
Are you worried at this article in the Politico, and I don't have a lot of time, that said next stop for the GOP establishment is to stop Governor Palin? You worried about the establishment? Are you ready to take them on?
I'm ready to take them on because I know that they're out there, and you know they've been doing that to me for many, many years. It's okay. Sean, we need to remember the political shots that come at us via darts and arrows and stupid things that we read in the press. Those things, they can be deflected. They can be deflected with a prayer shield. They can be deflected with a thick skin that you grow over 20 years of public service. I can deflect those things, and I can concentrate on what needs to be concentrated on to do good things for this country.
All right, Governor Palin, good luck. The book is in bookstores now, and we appreciate you spending the hour with us. Governor Palin, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean.
All right, and that is all the time we have left this evening. As always, thank you for being with us, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night.